The Egyptian government has implemented a nationwide 9 p.m. closing time for shops, malls, restaurants and cafes to combat a severe energy crisis triggered by the ongoing regional conflict involving Iran.
이집트 정부는 미국 이스라엘과 이란 간 전쟁으로 유가가 폭등하자 이에 대응하기 위해 자국 내 모든 상점과 식당, 카페 등의 폐점 시간을 앞당겨 밤 9시부터 문을 닫도록 지시했습니다. Tell us more.
The first thing is to say that Egypt's not involved in this.
Okay.
It's not one of the parties who's attacking anything at all, but it is very close to the area.
Geographically.
And it is susceptible to supply shocks.
Yes.
And the thing that, well, we all need, oil and natural gas. And it's been really affected by what's been going on and by the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. And so the Egyptian government have put in these measures. So dimming streetlights, for example, dimming roadside advertising, getting people to work 1 day a week at home. That's going to start from next month, from tomorrow. And so basically saying that anybody who can do less or use less electricity should. That's not going to apply to things like hospitals, schools and factories. So you wouldn't work from home if you're a factory worker or a hospital worker.
Right.
The one area where it's not going to be affected is when it comes to tourism and hotels, because that's a lot of Egypt's economy, and I think they want to make sure that tourists still come in even while they're dealing with these supply issues.
Right. The way we read the time and say the time in English is time and then AM or PM after the time.
Yes.
It is often used the opposite way in Korea, which is Konglish. But in English, we never say PM 9 or AM 9.
No, not
it's
at all.
always 9 PM or 9 AM.
Or 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock.
Yes.
Or there are lots of different ways to say the time, but not
Exactly.
if you put the AM, PM first.
Exactly. So if you are going to use AM or PM, it doesn't really matter if you capitalize it or use small letters. That's not the point. But what is important is that you say AM or PM after the number.
Yes. You can also use it without the number.
Yes, yes.
So, when you're
9
saying...
in the morning.
Yes.
9 at night.
No, without the number, meaning we say AM or PM.
Sorry.
I've got a meeting in the AM. You'll
I
hear people
see.
say or type as a message.
Yeah, exactly. To mean in the morning.
Exactly.
Or in the evening.
And there you don't need the number. You can use it just by itself. That's often for text rather than speech. But it is used sometimes.
문자 할 때는 나 오전에 뭐뭐 해, 오후에 뭐뭐 해 할 때 I'm doing something in the AM, in the PM. 문자로는 이렇게 한다는 거죠. 문자 언어와 우리 이제 회화 또 이제 문서로 공식적인 것을 작성할 때는 다 다르긴 합니다.
Yeah, for example, PM's on EBS in the AM.
What?
PM's on EBS in the AM.
Okay.
What's my name?
Paul Matthews.
Yes.
이렇게 혼란을 주지 마시고요.
죄송합니다.
PM이 폴 매튜스이기도 하군요. 그 PM까지 갈 줄은 몰랐는데 자, combat를 볼게요. Normally when I hear the word combat, I think of soldiers fighting. But here it says cafes and restaurants have to combat an energy crisis.
Yeah, but the thing is, for me, when I think of combat, I don't immediately go to soldiers.
Okay.
I go to solving a problem. I go to tackling an issue.
I see.
We had to combat the COVID virus back in 2020 for a couple of years.
Yes.
Whatever it is we're facing, it's something that we have to deal with, that we have to beat, or we have to tackle, or we have to endure, because it's fighting in some ways.
Yes.
So we can use the word fight as well. We fight against this or fight against that.
네, 무언가를 막기 위해서 싸우다, 대응하다, to combat. 자, 그러면 triggered by는요?
Well, if something is triggered by something else, it's set off by it. It's started by it. You think of a trigger on a gun or a trigger on some kind of machine. When you click that or press that, something starts. It causes a reaction.
네, 무엇에 의해서 촉발이 된다. To be triggered by something. Okay, let me read this again. The Egyptian government has implemented a nationwide 9 p.m. closing time for shops, malls, restaurants, and cafes to combat a severe energy crisis triggered by the ongoing regional conflict involving Iran. Okay, let's move on to the next headline.
Groundbreaking research reveals that the enduring bond between dogs and humans dates back more than 15,000 years, with evidence that hunter-gatherers fed the animals and gave them ritual burials long before the emergence of agriculture.
인간과 개의 유대관계가 지속된 기간이 15,000년보다 더 오래됐다는 획기적인 연구 결과가 발표됐습니다. 이는 고대 수렵 채집인들이 농경사회로 이행하기 훨씬 전부터 개에게 먹이를 주고 개를 인간과 함께 매장했다는 증거에 따른 것입니다. So, dogs are, I guess, a man's best friend or have been for a very long time.
Yes, and we move from Egypt to Turkey. Because that's where the oldest specimen buried alongside their master is. 15,800 years old. It was found in Anatolia, Turkey. There was another one found 14,300 years ago in the UK. But yes, we're finding more and more evidence that this history between humans and dogs has gone on for a very, very long time. And when we look at these burial rituals, there is evidence that there was a strong bond, a strong connection. For example, there was one burial site where the bones of the puppies were buried on top of the bones of the humans to suggest that sort of close bond or that tight relationship. So this is something we've known for a long time, that dogs and humans get on very well, but we didn't know that it dated back so far.
Yeah. I mean, dogs, I believe, were trained to live with humans right from the start. So we, as you said, we've known that. It's just that we don't know exactly how long that's been.
Yes.
But now it looks like it's been way over 15,000 years.
And before it was 12,000, they thought.
Oh, wow.
So we've gained an extra 3,000 years with dogs.
Oh, wow. 자, 그럼 표현을 좀 보도록 하겠습니다. To endure something, an enduring something.
Yeah, an enduring something is something that lasts a long time, or that lasts through difficult times, or troubles, or obstacles. Yes, and it's the same if we endure something, we survive it, we live through it. So it's a sense of length of time, but also surviving through hardships.
자, endure가 동사가 되겠고요. enduring은 형용사인데요. 이 원래 의미는 어려움을 함께 견뎌낸다라는 뜻이 들어있어요. 그래서 an enduring relationship 그러면은 오래 지속되어 온 관계가 되겠죠. 여러 가지 어려움이 있었을 수도 있는데
네.
그런 것들을 다 이겨낸 겁니다. 자, 그래서 동사로 썼을 때는 we have endured something. 무언가를 우리가 이겨냈어. 이렇게 말할 수 있습니다. 그것을 이제 오랫동안 이제 견뎌냈고 그래서 많은 시간이 지났다라는 것도 암시가 되는 거예요. 그래서 시간의 개념, 그 다음에는 기본적으로 어려움을 극복해내면서도 시간이 계속되어 왔다는 개념이라고 보시면 되겠는데 해석할 때 여기서는 이제 an enduring bond 그러면 오래 지속되어 온 관계 그러면 되겠죠. What's a ritual, or in this case, ritual burials?
Yes, when we're using it as an adjective, so it's a ritual something, or we talk about it as a noun, a ritual is going to be some kind of activity, some kind of, in this case, it could be burial or ceremony or whatever it is that is done for spirituality or for religion or for folk culture purposes. Whatever it is, it's something that's done in this way, in this fashion, because of the culture or because of the religion.
그래요. 자, 그래서 여기서 말하는 ritual이라는 형용사는 어떤 의례적인, 늘 해온이라는 뜻이고 명사일 때는 그런 의식 절차를 얘기하겠죠. 자, 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Groundbreaking research reveals that the enduring bond between dogs and humans dates back more than 15,000 years, with evidence that hunter-gatherers fed the animals and gave them ritual burials long before the emergence of agriculture. Now let's move on to the final headline.
More than 12 tons of chocolate bars were stolen in Italy while in transit to distributors in what's being called a major candy heist just ahead of the Easter holiday that could lead to consumer shortages.
이탈리아에서 12톤이 넘는 초콜릿바를 실은 트럭이 유럽 내 각 유통지점 배달 중에 도난당하는 사건이 발생했습니다. 부활절 휴일을 앞두고 벌어진 이번 희대의 초콜릿바 강도 사건으로 시중 물량 부족 상황도 우려되고 있습니다. So Easter is this upcoming Sunday, the
Yes.
5th of April. It's always on a Sunday. For our listeners who don't know, so the date changes every year. But in the West, people normally have Easter eggs, and these could come in the form of chocolate Easter eggs. It's very popular.
Yeah, eggs and bunnies are often chocolatized. Yes, and so we have a problem is that over 400,000 units of this chocolate, and it's a new chocolate range by one company, got stolen. Nobody got hurt, but the thieves took the chocolate and disappeared.
Yeah.
Don't know where they are, don't know what they're doing, but it was going from Italy to Poland. But I'm sorry, Poland, it looks like you may be short of chocolate this year.
그래요. So it was on its way to, or you could say it was in transit to Poland.
Yes, if something is in transit to something else, or someone's in transit, it means they're going from one place to another. If you're at the airport and you've ever had to stop over at one airport and then keep on flying, you may have spent time in the transit lounge, which is where people go when they're in transit.
그렇죠. In transit to 어디라고 하면은 어디로 가는 중에 있다라는 뜻입니다. 그럼 조금 전에 이제 사람 같은 경우는 경유의 의미로 볼 수 있겠고요. 우리 공항에서 transit area라고 하면은 이제 경유할 때 잠시 머무르는 곳이 될 텐데 그런 게 아니라 여기서는 이제 초콜릿입니다. 그래서 초콜릿이 운송 중이었다. And it was on its way to, it was in transit to Poland니까 폴란드로 운송 중에 도난당한 거고요. And this all happened just ahead of Easter.
Yes, just before, a little time before. So when we use just ahead of, we're usually talking about time, but it could be in terms of distance if we're talking about a race and one person is just ahead of someone else.
Right.
But normally it's saying, Sue, can you sign in just ahead of the conference? We just want to make sure that your name is down and we know you're here.
그래요. sign in이라는 것은 이제 뭐 출석 체크 아니면은 뭐 출근 체크 이런 거를 얘기하는 거긴 한데 just ahead of니까 뭐뭐 하기 직전에가 되겠죠.
A few minutes, a few hours.
그래요. Just ahead of the show, we had a chit chat.
We did.
Don't remember what we talked about, but we did.
We didn't talk about chocolate. I think you kept on
it
saying the word
donuts?
cat again and again and again.
It's very likely. 자, just ahead of는 뭐뭐 하기 직전에 무엇을 바로 앞두고 그래서 이제 이스터 부활절을 앞두고 지금 유럽에서 이런 일이 있었다라는 얘기입니다. All right. Well, let me read this again. More than 12 tons of chocolate bars were stolen in Italy while in transit to distributors in what's been called a major candy heist, just ahead of the Easter holiday that could lead to consumer shortages. All right, well, let's leave that story there.